When XD is first launched, a start screen appears that gives you a number of options for opening files. I'm going to start my project by clicking on a new file with an iPhone 6-7 sized artboard in place. I'd like to add 3 more of the same sized artboards to my file, so I grab the artboard tool and click on the canvas 3 times. To rename my artboards, I can double-click a title and key in something new, or I can click on the Layers panel icon, double-click on artboard name, and type in a new name. Once you edit one artboard name in the Layers panel, you can tab-click to select the other layers in order, or tap Shift to select them in reverse. Changes made in the Layers panel are applied immediately to artboards on the canvas. As I add text, graphics, and images to my artboards, they'll appear in the Layers panel too. I know I want a couple of artboards to be taller from the outset, so I can design them as screens that scroll. I shift-click 2 artboards to select them. Then I click the bottom handle of the selection container and I drag it down. Both artboards are lengthened together. Notice a dash line appears in the center of these 2 artboards. That indicates the fold line. Anything I put underneath will appear only when my page is scrolled, provided I have vertical scrolling enabled. For example, if I draw a rectangle above the fold on this artboard and fill it with a gradient, only that portion of my page appears if I click the desktop preview button, unless I scroll down to the white area underneath. If I want to add a solid color background to an artboard, I simply select it, click the fill swatch in the property inspector, and choose my color. I can also enter a hexadecimal number or shorthand, followed by enter or return on my keyboard. To add a grid to help you lay out your pages, click the grid checkbox in the property inspector. Change the grid cell size as desired or the color. Simply click Make Default if you want to reuse this configuration on another page. Then apply as necessary. Next, start using XD's drawing and text tools to lay out your experience. I'll begin by selecting the text tool, clicking and dragging out a text container. Notice it snaps to the grid if I get near it. I'll key in my app's name, which is Ginchi, and adjust its size and alignment in the property inspector, knowing I'll replace it with a real logo type later. Next, I'll key in text for a social sign and link. On second thoughts, I'd rather have that be a button. So I'll grab the rectangle tool, click and drag a button shape. Now because it's drawn on top of my text, I go to the Layers panel where it's already highlighted, and I drag it down to change the stacking order. I choose the Select tool, and with the Shift key, I click on the text in the Layers panel to select both items. I then go over to my Align and Distribute buttons and click Align Middle vertically and Align Middle horizontally to perfectly center one above the other. Then I reposition the button on my canvas. Because I need 3 buttons in one column on this page, I click Repeat Grid. This allows me to simply click a gripper and pull it out until I have what I want. I can also go into the space between the buttons and click and drag to change the margins. I'll further discuss editing repeat grids in the next video. I like the size and style of my Ginchi head and button text, and I want to reuse these styles across my design. I simply select the artboard they are on, click the Assets panel icon to open it, and click the plus sign next to Character Styles. All styles on this artboard are added and can be used elsewhere in my file. Another powerful feature in XD is symbols, which you can also manage from the Assets panel. I can draw a shape as simple as a rectangle, like I'm doing here, to reserve space for a header. If I make it a symbol and copy and paste it to other artboards, changes that I make to the symbol are applied across all the instances except in the case of overrides. For example, if I double-click into the symbol and draw a few ellipses inside the rectangle to serve as placeholders for icons to be added later, they appear in all instances of this symbol. With XD, you have the tools and performance to design your experience from scratch. XD also offers easy access to other resources that make getting started easier. This includes wireframes which have pre-built templates and components that can be used as is or customized, as well as other UI resources for designing for Apple iOS, Google Material Design, and Microsoft Windows. I'll go into these in more detail in the next video.